everybody. Welcome to my live stream. Bear with me. It's one of my first, if not my first professional live stream. I'm listening to a president right now in my ear, which I can barely do. But I wanted to hear what was going on with the Epstein file release today because I already saw Todd Blanche, who is Deputy DOJ, which is second to Pam Bondi. He's also, in case you didn't know, Donald Trump's former criminal attorney, which he actually did not win Donald's cases. So let's keep that in mind. He can't be that good if he didn't win his cases. So that gives me hope. So he already came out and said they're going to start letting them out, obviously before midnight. Tonight was the deadline, is the deadline. I still haven't seen anything yet. Let me know in the chat if you have. So I've been listening to DT Talk Junk for quite a while now, and he's actually salivating out of his mouth for the first time, which just adds to like his disgust when I'm listening to him. I can't even look at him anymore. So I will do it for you. Well, first of all, he's been blowing off his mouth, blah, 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 like he always does for, 20 minutes now while I've been setting up my live video. And he hasn't addressed the Epstein survivors and releasing the files once yet. Nope, not once. And he came out hot on the mic saying, you guys make so much money. You guys make so much money. He's got this panel of pharmaceutical corporation people behind him. But the first thing he comes out and says is how you can become a citizen with the Trump Gold Card by paying, I think it's $1 million to stay in our country now. And then he goes on to blah, blah. I mean, that's how he opens up the Epstein file release. As if that's not so disgusting to begin with, right? I mean, how he treats these women like they don't even exist is just proof of everything he's trying to avoid. And that's now, I'm not even going to talk about what he's still talking about. He's talking about how much we're going to save next year on drugs and pharmaceuticals. I got something to say to him. Show me some proof on something for once. Release these documents. Show me some proof that you're saving some people in this country money instead of treating everybody inhumanely and like they're nothing. It's so disgusting. And what he's doing to these women, it is just disgusting. He's still not talking about them and releasing the files. Now he's talking to Dr. Oz, like quietly under his breath and saying, Ozzy, what do you think? Ozzy, what do you think? Look, they're fucking man club with putting women up there just to appease us, or they think they're appeasing us. They're really his puppets. Okay? This is really just so much proof of this male supremacy that we have to continually live in. And I just wish some men aren't involved in that. Obviously, a lot of men aren't, but there are those few that refuse to leave it because they think all this other important stuff is more important than being humane or loving or really protecting Americans and keeping us fed and keeping us with our health care, which still is going to expire at the end of the month, which is just days away. So as everybody's receiving those mails, their emails and envelopes in their mail, they're just realizing if that was happening to me this year, and it could happen to me next year, who knows? But if that was happening to me this next year, I would be a stress on the healthcare system. Personally, I would not buy healthcare. And I would just go in and pay the fee. I know it's lower if you don't have health care. And then God forbid, if I had to go to the hospital for something, I would not be able to pay. So they would have to either erase my debt and eat it, which I've heard them do before, and or they would have to wait until I'd set up a payment plan and maybe be able to pay them back one day. So I would definitely not buy this. And that's not my advice to you, but that's personally what I would do. I'm livid. I'm livid about these women being treated the way they were when they were kids. And as women today, they already turned over Roe v. Wade, which I was livid at. I just thought it was so unbelievable, but they continue to chop away at women's rights, at everybody's white rights, who don't want to get on board with all these junky people. I really don't want to get on board with these junky people. Nobody really does. There's just a few of them that are in the White House right now. And oh gosh, RFK's on now, Junior. I can't believe he is in charge of our healthcare for this country, because he sounds like the most sickly person in the world. Okay? He is the most sickly person in the world. And just because he tries to keep the top part of his body fit in public, I don't know what that's all about, but it's disgusting. I don't know who it would turn on. But again, it's disgusting, and he's got some really weird addictions, and this man is really dangerous. I wouldn't listen to a word he said. I can't believe he's in charge of this department personally. Let me put my ceiling fan on. It's getting warm in here. And now they're talking about how all President Obama, and then he just said Clinton, besides Biden, how everyone promised. They forgot that Trump was president in there. Just a leaves out in that. It's still not talking about the Epstein files. Oh my God. If it wasn't for like being livid, I wouldn't even be listening to this right now, because not only am I capable, I don't want to give him the pleasure of him being, he just takes advantage of being able to go live on TV. Like he went on live on TV the other night during Survivor, from what I understand. I don't watch that, but if I was watching my favorite show and these men came on to my favorite show, which I'm relaxing at night to let go of my day, oh my God. It's like we have to deal with you during the day, and now I have to deal with you on my relaxation chosen time. He just abuses every system he has access to, and it's absolutely disgusting. It's not discouraging, though, because the people, the people, have been resisting. And that's why he's so upset with the Democrats and the liberals and the progressives and the independents and the people that said they were MAGA, but they're really Republicans. They didn't know this was the difference, that there's a huge difference between being MAGA and Republican, apparently, that's been shown to our country this year. And it's just coming to light right now. So I have, with the year ending, as I'm still listening to these old, and nothing against old men in my ear, but this is not your place in time right now to be lying to the country and not protecting the people in this country by putting our country at risk from the entire administration, mentally, physically for some, and spiritually. He just puts us in this danger zone from an external view as well, from these other countries that are learning what the difference between Republican and MAGA is now as well. And it's insanity. Oh, and now, what's that voice? He's about to kiss Trump's ass. the guy that had that big tequila bottle that spent, I don't know, all that money on tequila. Yeah, now he's kissing Trump's ass like everybody else is. Hold on. Yeah, there's still supposed to be a partial release of the Epstein files today. They're not telling us this though, but another source is telling me that maybe in about 13 minutes. I don't know if it's going to be from them. I can't imagine it being from them. They don't like to show respect or courage. What's really strange is that the victims, dead and alive, the survivors, they have been the most courageous people, women, in this whole manosphere. The victims have been the strongest, most courageous people. I love that. And it's probably taking a lot for the ones that are still here with us to come this far. And I'm so glad that we, in a world now where they have been introduced to attorneys, introduced to people like us that care, introduced to people that help lift them up and show us what these powerful men are capable of and not being held accountable for. This is a big deal, y'all. It's a really effing big deal to me. And by the way, the president is supposed to be here in North Carolina by 6 o'clock tonight. It's 10 to 3. I know it's just a hop over the one or two borders, but he's not going to do anything about the Epstein files today. That's my guess. Is it's beneath him, even though he's so intertwined with it all and entangled. It's definitely beneath him, is what he thinks, not what I think or the rest of our country thinks, or even people in the rest of the world think. So Todd Blanche came out earlier today and said that they would start releasing things today, documents, several hundred thousand around like 3 o'clock-ish, and then more as the next weeks come out, and then more next month. Just let that sit for a while. Number one, do we believe them? Why should we believe a word they say? They do not want to hold anyone accountable for what they did, and they never have. Why should they start now? The law is what you're thinking, like I would be thinking, but because we just lived through 11 months of this administration, they're not listening to the law, which they will be held accountable eventually for. I really believe that. But what about now? Yeah, so we're still waiting for somebody to talk about it in the press conference right now. There's many people. They're all white men in suits. There is one woman. Nope, there's 2 or 3 women there. Oh my gosh. Again, puppets, and they're from other countries, by the way. If Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi and Lindsay Hannigan, who's her, right? She's gone, flash in a pan. They're all puppets. So they could continue fooling us that they care about women. Just so you know. Just so you know. Okay. Okay. Let me get grounded for a minute. So I wore green today because I'm in a Christmassy mood. I put green mascara, eyeshadow on for the first time in a long time. And because Wicked's all over the place, but I haven't watched it yet, I'm in love with green and pink for the Christmas holidays. I always loved it. And then I got my new pink raccoon. It's called the Peekaboo raccoon. When my hair's down, it's kind of like covered in the peekaboo. I love it. So while we're waiting on, I'm not going to call him what I really want to call him. We're just going to wait on this big dictator. Yeah. So he's supposed to be here in North Carolina in 3 hours. Yeehaw. Maybe I'll go. He's actually endorsed this one of the senators. Tom Tillis he's the Republican senator from North Carolina, and he is not putting up with this anymore. So he said he's not going to rerun this year, which is amazing because we get a chance to fill it with a Democratic seat. And here in North Carolina, it's really exciting because the most beloved governor that we just had, unfortunately, he finished his terms, Governor Roy Cooper. He's running. I bet he thought he was going to be retired because he was in the final four for running for Kamala Harris as the VP with Tim Walz, and it ended up being Tim Walz. Now, Roy Cooper here in North Carolina, he's a Democrat. He is a beloved man, and I could see why, because to me, he really cares about the people here. He knows North Carolina really well. He grew up here. He knows about the farms. I think he comes from a family farm background, which is very common around here. So, now they're still talking about deep discounts on pharmaceuticals. Again, show us. That'd be great. So let me lower this because I really don't care about them lying anymore until it comes into fruition. So yeah, we have Democrat Roy Cooper running for senator, who was our governor most recently. He's amazing. And he finished his term. It had to be his last term. He wins like every election he runs for. And I believe in putting out the good stuff. So to make it happen, to help, because I really believe it. I don't believe he can't win. That's how beloved he is here. He's a religious man of faith, but he really cares about people, not like these people in the White House. He really cares about the people here. And as a sidebar, he goes to the hockey games. We have a great ice hockey NHL team here in Raleigh. They're called the Hurricanes, unfortunately, for that reason. So he goes. I haven't seen him since he left office this year, but since the season started. But I look for him because sometimes we'll have the TV on and they'll show him cranking the siren. That's how our games start for hockey here. It cranks like a siren, like a hurricane siren. So sometimes they'll have him cranking the siren with all he's got. It takes a lot of work and it's hype up, and it's so fun to see him. And then he'll hang out behind the scenes. And he's always friendly when he's on camera. I have never met him, but I have actually written him a thank you card during COVID because I felt like he was keeping me and my family ultra safe here in North Carolina. Of course, that's, people vary on different things, but I love the way he took care of North Carolina. He included science, he included common sense, and that's what our state's about. And I actually went to Florida to visit during COVID, and I actually came home a few months later because I wanted to stay there for a while, but because of the heat of, not just the heat of the temperature physically there, but because the heat of the presidential election that was going on when Trump was running in 2020. I mean, there's so many rude Trumpians down there. And it's just, they're so like they drank the Kool-Aid. There's no way. I don't know if some of them have woken up, like you see some people on TV have woken up, but they're like people in trucks with the big flags. There's merch selling on the side of the streets, like you see merch for the 4th of July around here in North Carolina, or Christmas tree lots. They had Donald Trump lots on the side of the road with his merch, and he lost anyway. Well, he still can't get over that. Maybe it would have been good if he won, because then we'd be done with him by now. So anyway, back to North Carolina. He's endorsing Watley, who's been in charge of the western part of the state after Hurricane Helene last year. Devastated the west part. The roads, you can't even, it's like a vacation destination, because we have the beach on the East Coast and we have the mountains that lead into Nashville. And he's just fucking that up royally. But Trump is endorsing him, so that's why he's going to be in North Carolina tonight. But he has to run against 2 other Democrats, so hopefully he won't win the primaries at all. Trump's talking right now. Let's hear what he has to say. Now he's still talking about the highly respected pharmaceutical people. What about the highly respectable women that are standing for justice who were sexually abused and raped? People like this just make me, how do they stay in power? We can never, ever let this type of person get in power again. Please, anybody, do not be fooled ever again to vote for anybody that lies like this. I could have almost been fooled, because he has this smoke and mirrors facade as growing up in New York. He has this smoke and mirrors thing of, thinking he's successful and he can teach you how to make money and you can make money just like him. And I think it was a perfect storm for that. Speaking of hurricanes, I think it was a perfect storm for that, because he won eventually, because he didn't win in 2020. But I saw Kamala Harris on Jimmy Kimmel, where Trump is still talking about stuff we don't care about because he's such a big liar. There, I said it. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, he's had a new idea just standing there watching these great leaders. Let's see what that great idea is. He's looking for a donation of some type for free or low. I wish this man really cared about everyone. I think we would know by now if he did care about anybody. But the detention centers, what they're doing to human beings on the ground with ICE and the Border Patrol, if you haven't seen footage on that, it is absolutely crazy that it's going on in this country of the US, because I thought all these old male supremacy days were gone. These people are masked, and it's just people that don't see this, that's been so embedded in this country, and I'm sure other countries, but we were so far away from this. I think it scared these specific white men in the office, because we were so close to peace and wellness and living in our authentic selves the way we want to, the way these people don't. They have affairs, they are bisexual, trans, or gay, or lesbians. They do everything other people do, but they hide it and pretend they don't in the name of religion. And there's been big wars on this planet over religions because they just use that. And that's how they got into power with all the people at church, which was horrific. I don't know how they feel now, the churchgoers that were brainwashed every Sunday and ended up voting for this inhumane torturer. He's such a lawbreaker. I mean, he's a convicted felon of sexual abuse, which is called something else in New York when you actually penetrate a woman with something. He's calling what he's talking about is such a big announcement. And then he made clear what he meant about the pharmaceuticals. He'll do whatever he can to cover up for their disgusting pedophilia. Watch them make that legal next, because that's the only thing they really want is woman trafficking and women and child abuse. Yeah, and don't forget, the men in the Catholic religion, what they did to the boys, and that all got blessed and gone away. That's what they do. They excuse these men in these religions, and then they move on and sweep it under the rug. But this is 2026 now. We're coming on. Let's start this year amazing, and let's hold people accountable for what they do. I mean, really, they're holding people in cells that are compared to concentration camps, and the way they take them off the streets for doing less or nothing than these people in the Epstein files have done. There's proof. Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail for 20 years because of it. Well, now she's in a camp. Oh, he's left the room. He's left the presser, and he said no questions today. And everybody's leaving the room. It's 3:04 p.m. on Friday right now. Howard Lutnick, that's who was talking before. He seems to be leaving the room as well. Yep, they all left the room. He just ignored it. He did not say anything. He didn't even take questions because he didn't want to distract from the event, he said, because he's so wonderful. All right. I will come back as soon as I get some more news on who, if we get any files. And also, there he goes again. I guess he's on his way to North Carolina now. He's got 3 hours to get to the event in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Rocky Mount, North Carolina. It's just northeast of Raleigh. That's where he's going to be this evening at 6 o'clock. Well, are we surprised? No, not at all. His audacity never surprises me. And, I grew up with people like this. I was actually very surrounded and secluded by people like this. I thought that's how people were. And they're really not. It's really nice when you get out into the world and meet other people that are different than what you think the world's made up of. This isn't what the world's made up right here. And this is, I can't even tell you. I'm livid. I'm disgusted by this man and all the people with him that continue to ignore women and women's rights and women's safety every day in this country. that goes undone and unchecked, but they're taking away immigrants in the name of that, when they are covering up people that have done the worst. This is like the biggest case that's ever been brought to light, quite possibly. So I could go on about this, but I will come back and update you when I can.